Rob, let's move from the NCAA to the NBA. And I got to shout out and just give straight up props to several NBA players who have come out and said that they are going to give money to the part-time arena employees. The guys that are at the hot dog stands and concession stands and working security as you and I, as reporters would go into games and things like that. Those are the people that are really going to be hit hard by this. And we heard the Golden State Warriors president, Rick Welts, kind of pay lip service to it, by
fumbling over it. Oh yeah, we'll lend us support. No, people don't need that.
Right.
You know what they need? They need to get paid because those jobs and the money is not that big. So Chris, when you miss it, you miss it big time.
No question.
You just miss it.
No question.
And you can't make it up. You don't have to. You're living paycheck to paycheck. There's no, let me go into my emergency fund in the bank. You don't have one.
Right.
You don't have one.
Absolutely. So shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo, $100,000 of his own money to those part-time employees in Milwaukee. Kevin Love, $100,000 of his own money to those workers in Cleveland. Shout out Blake Griffin, $100,000 of his own money to the workers in Detroit. And Blake's been hurt basically all year, so really good for him. But Zion Williamson, the rookie, Rob, the rookie. He's not even getting the big money yet. And he has said he's going to take care of the payment. I don't even want to say salaries because they're, part-time employees. They're working on hourly rates. He's going to take care of all of those Pelicans employees for the next 30 days. But Chris, I love what the players are doing, but it's once again, it's just it shouldn't be coming from them. Well, there's some teams. Before you go there, and I know where you want to go, and I'm with you, but some teams are stepping up. The Portland Trail Blazers have said they're going to cover the salaries or the payments for those workers for the 9 remaining home games, or what games that were supposed to be home games.
Bravo!
Dallas Mavericks doing it for their remaining home games, which was 6. Philadelphia doing it, and the Flyers as well in the NHL, and the Memphis Grizzlies as well. And here's the one thing. First of all, Adam Silver should make that mandatory. I think just make that mandatory.
What the Blazers, the remaining home games, 9.
Yep.
Just pay the people going to be hurt the most. That's it, and it should come from the team. And at some other situation, or when the NBA, I don't know, Chris. There's fine money that I know that goes to charity sometimes. Maybe you know what I mean.
Yep.
Maybe you take from that pool. I'm not saying, but there should be money to help the people, and it should be coming from the owners or the league or whoever, not really the players. The league makes so much money. Great, no, that's fine. That's their right.
The owners should be doing it more.
But they shouldn't feel compelled.
Dallas,
the players,
though, Rob,
that's the thing.
Here's the thing about Dallas. They're throwing a little twist on there that the part-time employees, I don't know if they've made this mandatory, but Cuban mentioned this. They're going to do some type of community service. Stop it.
Right.
Are you going to do some type of community service?
But you know what that is?
You got the time. You got the time, Mark Cuban. You doing community service? You going to make these part-time employees have to do some community service to get paid?
Disgraceful. And you know what that's like, Chris? That was like, and I'm just going to tell you, this is this is what it reminded me of. This is the stuff, the rhetoric that they got from people when people got welfare, that they had to do like community service. These are people who are down and out, who are struggling, can't pay their rent. You know what I mean? Don't have money. And you're making it like, we're not giving you a handout. You have to work for it. That's what this is. And that's a slap in the face to those employees who are working for you. The only reason they're not working, Chris, there are no games to work.
Right.
It ain't like they just want to check and they don't want to show up. A no-show job.
Right.
That is embarrassing. It really is.
No question.
And insulting.
No question about it. No question about it. And that's why, and here's the thing, too. And again, I'm glad the teams are doing this. And again, I think Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, should make it mandatory for teams to do it. Now, he works for the owners, but so what? Make it mandatory. But here's the thing. Giannis, Kevin Love, Blake Griffin, Zion, Rob, they're coming out of their own pocket.
Right.
Are the teams, is this coming out of the owner's pocket?
Nope. It'll come out of some fund or some money there.
From the franchise. Now, I know they own the franchise, but it's not their personal money.
It's not directly, right. You could go in and say, I'm Mark Cuban, I worth $2 billion, and I'm going to take it out of my own pocket, not even out of the Mavericks fund or that account. I'm taking it out of my personal savings account, and I'm going to donate this money to help the people who are going to be hurt. We've both talked about this before. When the NFL takes the game to Europe and Jacksonville this year, Chris, right? 3 games, I think it is. Is it 2 or 3 games in London? The little people get hurt.
Yep.
Like you go like, oh, well, we make a ton of money over there. Sure you do. But what about the people who have jobs there in Jacksonville who depend on those games?
Yep, no question. And I look, neither of us like to get in guys' pockets. You do what you want with your money. But when I see players, and I think a lot of fans, Rob, they look at it like, well, yeah, the players should do something. LeBron and, Kawhi, and they should do something. They're making, hundreds of millions of dollars. What about the owners?
Somebody's paying them that money, though.
Billions.
Somebody's paying them that money, right?
All of them. You got Jeannie Buss is paying LeBron the max, Anthony Davis the max. All these, Danny Green, what's he making? $12 million a year, 15, whatever it is. I mean, they are the ones. I'm just saying to the listeners and the fans out there, if you're looking at anybody to do it, look first at the billionaire owners. And we see it with the lockouts, Rob. Fans tend to seem to be on the side of the owners when it comes to lockouts.
Only because they always feel, and this is just my theory, because you play basketball, Chris, or you hit a baseball. I'm just saying you played the game, right? So you more realize or feel like I'm closer to that guy than I am to the owner, where you can't envision owning a team or being a billionaire. So I think that's why fans do it, and I don't think it's right. But I think that you should look at the owner, because ultimately everybody under him are all employees. Players are employees.
Right. Concession
people are employees. Security guards are employees. Everybody under the owners is an employee.
Right.
So that's why the owners should be on the owner and the organization to take care of their people in extraordinary circumstances. And this is not some guy who wants to take off and get paid, or this is something that he cannot control and won't get paid and have a family and bills and you miss most people in this country. You miss 2 or 3 paychecks, Chris, and you're in bad shape. You're in trouble.
Most. You hit it on the head. No question about it. And I just think this is an extraordinary situation. This is a situation that none of us has ever experienced. I don't care how old you are. Unless you're like 100 years old and you go back to the 1918 Spanish flu, you haven't experienced this. None of us have. And so that's why we're saying, look, if somebody should be looked at as stepping up and helping these people that are going to need it, it should be the billionaires, not the millionaires. And if you want to hold the players' feet to the fire and say they should do it, fine, but hold them second, right? Hold the billionaires first. They should not be able to get away with this. And this community service, I'm sorry. I am sorry. That should not be a requirement in this situation to do that. If you want to offer up the opportunity, hey, we're the Dallas Mavericks. We want to go out and help people, who may have coronavirus, however you want to do it. We're doing this type of community service. All of our employees, from the part-timers all the way up to the executives, we want all of you to come out and do something. That's one thing. But to say that these part-time workers have to do it, it's really like you making them work for the money.
Right.
That's really
exactly what
that's
it
really
is.
what you're saying.
This is not like that. They don't do that with the Red Cross when a flood comes somewhere, Chris, and then go, all right, we're going to take care of stuff and get you clothes and a place to eat, but then you have to work it off after everything gets cleaned up. No, that's not what it is.
Right. No, it's just, so that's all I'm saying is if you really want to see somebody step up, let's fans start holding the billionaire owners accountable more so than the players. But look, I hope more players, follow the lead of Love. I don't feel they're obligated to, but I mean, and all of these guys are heroes. Zion, Rob, that's really huge to me because Kevin Love is darn near max. He's got a $130 million contract. Giannis and Blake Griffin are max guys. I'm not trying to belittle what they're doing because that's great too. But Zion
for
is
a young guy
rookie.
who's that young,
Yes.
who's already digging in his pocket and not only worried about himself, says a lot. It just does.
That's great. That's great. And for him to be, what looks like he could be the face of the game going forward or one of them, yeah, that's a great look for him. And definitely shout out to Giannis. And let's hope that some other players, but more so the owners step up and help. Now, here's the thing, Rob, and this doesn't fly in the face of what we're saying, but the money that the league could lose, they've already lost roughly $200 million from China. The whole issue with Daryl Morey and the tweet and all that. But they stand, if they don't play any regular season or playoff games this year, and this will tell you why they're willing to go through August to play these games, they will lose roughly $500 million. So you're talking about losing $700 million this season if they don't play games.
Right. Yeah, it's the ramifications, and it's through a lot of things. You don't realize how much stuff is tied, to these things and money, and once it stops.
Well, that might affect the salary. It will affect the salary cap next year.
It's going to affect a lot of things.
Yeah.
There'll be people, if this goes long enough, Chris, that'll be laid off in the NBA offices.
No question.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind.
We've already seen some writers.
Right.
Because some of the games aren't being played, and
And not only that, and then there's a lot of guys who are freelance writers, Chris, who make money. They can make a living doing it because there's enough games to do it, but it's a freelance. And if you don't have any games to cover, those guys are, again, they don't get paid.
Right. So even though money's going to be lost, though, you're still going to be fine. The billionaires will be fine. It doesn't mean you can't help the people that are going to be hurt the most. So should we be looking more at the billionaire owners to pay the salaries or the payments of these part-time workers who are going to be out of work because of the sports shutdowns, or should we be looking at the players? Your turn to weigh in. Let's start with Brad in Minnesota. Brad, you're on with Chris and Rob. Is Brad there?
Hello.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brad. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, I think you're dead wrong about the community service thing, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, number one, how many owners have stepped up? Mark Cuban's one of them that stepped up.
He said his team. His team. I mean, if you're talking about stepped up like the players and said they're pulling out their own pocket.
No.
Their teams. Grizzlies, Mavericks, 76ers, and Blazers that we know of.
Okay, so if you want to get on the owners that haven't stepped up, more power to you. I agree with you on that. I don't think there's anything wrong with him asking these people that he's going to pay to go out and do something for the good of the community. The country's hurting right now. What better thing to do than to get out there and help people?
What about we're not supposed to be out?
Hold on.
We're not supposed to be out.
This shouldn't be charity with stipulations, Chris, because that's what it is. It's charity when you help out people. We talked about it.
And
when
this
the
is
Red
not
Cross
charity
comes
now.
to your town, when the Red Cross comes to help you in a bad spot, this isn't anything they created. They didn't do this to themselves.
A lot of them probably might have, schools are canceling school.
Right.
Cities are, hold on, Brad, hold on. We're going to keep Brad on. Don't cut him off. Schools are being canceled. So a lot of these part-time workers may have kids at home that they got to watch. and now you putting this stipulation on them. Did Zion Williamson say, as long as they come do some community service, then they come cut my grass, then yeah, I'm gonna pay.
Come paint my house. Come clean up the garbage in my neighborhood. Come on, that's not what helping people in.
Go ahead,
you gonna
bro.
let me talk or not? Talk or not?
Go ahead. It's our show, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know that, and I appreciate that.
We
guys.
told you stay on. We're gonna let you talk. Now go ahead.
Okay. Why can't they work during the time that they would normally be working and getting paid for it? I don't think that's asking too much.
It's not charity then. Then don't compare it to what Zion, Blake, Giannis, and Kevin Love have
Thank
done.
you. You know what it is, Chris? I got another job for you.
Yep.
I got that. If you want to paint it like that, while you can't work at the arena, I'm going to set it up where I'll set up jobs in the community for people to work and you'll get paid.
Right.
That's what that is.
That's what it is.
And then people have a right to take it or not, Chris, right?
Yep.
Come
That's what
on.
it is. It's not charity.
It's not charity.
That's
Come on, man.
the difference. Let's go to Don in Boston. Don, you're on with Chris and Rob. Trucker Don. We didn't know it was Trucker Don. We just saw Don. What's up, man?
Hey.
That was a nice,
going
pleasant surprise.
Thanks, guys. What's going on? Hey, Marine Corps saying is Semper Fidelis. You guys, Semper Magna. Always great. You guys are doing a great job
Thank you, brother.
of talking sports when there is none. That's awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Now, I know you guys earlier were talking about Rudy Gobert, and I tried to get in for the past hour or so. And by the way, it's always harder to get in when both of you are in studio. So, Rob, we miss you when you're not here. Chris, we definitely miss you when you're not here. So, just giving you guys both props.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And anyway, with Rudy Gobert, all he did actually is prove the NBA right. And I hated the idea of the media not being allowed in the locker room because you guys ask the questions I want answers to. And so, but what Gilbert did, he may have contracted it from a carrier that was a media person, might have been a beer vendor, a popcorn vendor, could have been his coach. You never know who the carriers are. And that was what the NBA's point of not having any extra access to their players.
No, and I think his silliness ended up working out for good, because it did spark this, this whole thing where games are being canceled and postponed. But it wasn't right what he did, but it ended up working for good. Let's go to Marty in Kentucky. Marty, what's up? You're on with the Chris and Rob.
Doing it Friday.
What's up, brother?
Hey, guys, I got to say, it should absolutely and obviously be up to these owners. I'm not surprised at all that Cuban and Para, at the Grizzlies, the 76ers are owned by like 14 people, so I don't know about them, but those two guys, Cuban and Para, they're self-made millionaires. That's the types that will take care of their people. Now, the type, let's just use the worst guy, for example, James Dolan. They just,
with the
people is no.
Heck, he wanted them still to play games with fans there.
Right.
Yeah, he's a typical NBA owner. This guy, his dad was a billionaire, owned Cablevision, sent him down he tried to be a musician when he was young, and he failed at that, so then he decided to work for Daddy, and his daddy sent him to Cleveland. You might remember that, Chris. He went down to Cleveland and ran a sports radio network and became a CEO of Cablevision. He got handed everything by his daddy. Those are the types that see these hourly workers as just numbers, not people. And that's just pretty much what it's all about. They don't really care about their fans, their employees. They're just paying the players because they have to, because they're on the salary.
Right, because they have to.
Rob, we're talking about tone deaf. Why is the UFC still having events with fans? They're playing in Las Vegas, going to be with fans, right, Steve? You just said that?
London with fans, and the reason is because Dana White's a big friend of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump says this is not a big deal, and he talked to the UFC president, and that's what he believes.
Ridiculous. The rest of the world is shut down, all the major events, and why? Why put people at risk? I don't get it. Is it because you want to say, hey, we'll put on an event, there's nothing else on, everybody's going to have to watch
Dana White very proudly said everybody else is panicking.
Unbelievable. It's just I don't know what you could do to stop it. I hope that fans won't go, but you know how people are. It'll probably sell out. That's how crazy it is.
Especially since they're dying for some sports to look
go
at
to
right
something.
now. Yeah. But Dana White said everybody's panicking. When did he become an expert on this? Really? When did he become an expert? And look, let's just call it what it is. If he's listening to Trump said it was a hoax.
Right. It was a Democratic hoax or something.
Right.
We don't want to get into the politics, but you can't call something this serious and poo-poo it and act like things aren't like this is real deal and people's lives are at stake. So why are you trying to do this? Why? It's okay. We'll step down, Chris. We'll stop for 30 days,
right.
And maybe we'll get back to our lives and the games and all the other stuff that we normally do. It's okay. I got a message for people. You know what? Use this time. Take care of your life. Organize it.
Right.
Clean out your closets. Clean out your drawer. Seriously. When do you have time, Chris, to stop and you have nothing else to do? You do something constructive with it.
I agree.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Message. I totally agree.
Go take care of your life, all the things you've put off and you haven't taken care of. You'll never get another opportunity in your life when the world stops and you can really try to make some changes and get some things accomplished.
Because some of this is pride. There is a group of people out there who are like, we're panicking, we're overreacting. We're going to, we want to go on with life as usual. We want to show that this is not changing what we do. That's pride. Pride goes before a fall. And so don't be prideful, be cautious. And that's what it should be. All right, we're welcoming in a guy, as we said, he was a winner at every level. I'm sure, I'm going to ask him this, but I'm sure he won at the high school level too, because he won 2 NCAA championships and an NBA championship too. Corey, did you win a high school championship?
I got to the state semifinals in basketball. I won one in football though.
Football.
You were a good football player, huh?
I wasn't too bad.
What position?
Play receiver.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Now, were you being recruited like by big time colleges or not?
Yeah, I was getting recruited to play football by some big time schools.
Really? Okay. So, do you think you
made the right decision? You made the right decision.
Do you think you could have made the NFL?
I'm not gonna say that. I weighed like 170 pounds.
You might have made it, but you would have been broken up at some point.
Right?
I might not have played too long.
This is Corey Brewer, as I said, NBA champion, 2-time NCAA champion with the University of Florida. Thanks for joining us, Corey. Let's start with college. Do you think? I mean, you obviously were able to play in the tournament and had great experiences, obviously. How do you feel for these kids who, some of them have had great years, and a lot of teams kind of came out of nowhere this year, San Diego State and, some of these schools, Dayton.
I was going to say the Dayton Flyers, right?
Yeah, unusually successful years. They're not going to be able to play in the tournament. Tell us about that experience and what, how they're feeling, because you know how great it is.
First of all, I feel bad for all the kids, especially the seniors who are not going to get to play in the tournament their last year. But, man, it's nothing like playing in the NCAA tournament. So for all those kids to just be let down, basically not being able to play, it's tough. I know it's crazy what's going on right now, but I feel for those guys. But, I had an amazing time. It's nothing like the NCAA tournament. Win, lose, you go home. Win, you move on. It's the best tournament in the world.
Corey, before you go, Rob, how does the NCAA tournament compare to playing in the NBA playoffs, the experience?
It's a big difference. I won a championship with the Dallas Mavericks. But 7-game series, if you got a really good team and you got a great coach, you can game plan and you can win 7-game series. In the NCAA tournament, you can't have a bad game. And if the other team is hot, you could be in trouble because you lose, you go home.
Corey, my big problem I have with the NCAA is they were trying to come up with all kinds of ways. We're going to play it without fans, and then they were talking about maybe a 16-team tourney. They were trying to continue to play regardless. The only reason that they didn't play is because big schools like Kansas and Duke said that they weren't. Their president said we're not playing whether there's a tournament or not. What did you see by that? That there wasn't their leadership to say we'd rather keep the kids safe rather than playing a tournament, or did you like what they did was still trying to play the tournament despite what's going on in the world right now?
Nah, you can't play the tournament, man. You got to keep the kids safe. Man, I don't care what you do. The safety for the kids comes first. You know, I know the NCAA tournament makes a lot of money for schools and for the NCAA, but you got to take care of the kids.
What's your feeling on where the NBA should go now? Now, I was thinking, I mean, they've already played 60-some-odd games. That's enough to see who the top 8 teams are in each conference. I was thinking, resume if they can in April, or whether it's April or May, and just start with the playoffs. The playoffs itself is like 2 months long. Do you think they should go ahead and finish out the regular season or just go straight to the playoffs, assuming they can come back at all?
Assuming they can come back at all, I think you got to look at the standings. I think they need to look. Are there teams that have a chance to get in the playoffs, or if it's going to be a long shot for a bunch of teams, you should just go ahead straight to the playoffs.
Yeah, in the West, Memphis
and we saw this in
1999, though. Yeah, it can change. I mean, but 3.5. Memphis is up by 3.5 games on a few teams in the West, and the East is pretty much settled. Orlando's got like a 5.5 game lead over the 9th place team.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough not to play it out with the 3.5 games when teams think they can get in the playoffs. But I just hope they can resume. That's the biggest thing right now. I just hope this blows over and they can resume.
Right.
When you see the world stop, especially this country with sports, and you know how big sports are in this country, I mean, does it feel like unreal, like a movie? Like when you start seeing like the NBA season's going to be suspended, and then all these other things started to come. What was going through your head just when you finally heard that the NBA was suspended?
It was unreal. It's I couldn't believe it. You know, when the NBA stops and the NCAA tournament stops, like this is serious. Like, 'cause sports, like you said, America loves sports, and if they have to stop sports, this is serious.
Now, Corey, the guy who's become the face of this is Rudy Gobert. And we saw what he did with touching all the reporters' microphones and tape recorders and things like that. But the reports are that he was actually in the locker room joking about it, touching his teammates, touching their belongings, joking like, this is coronavirus, ain't no big deal and all that stuff. And obviously he comes down with it. Donovan Mitchell, his teammate, comes down with it. And they're saying, the reports are that the players are really upset with Rudy and frustrated with his behavior. Do you think that's something that could linger and maybe if they can come back and play could hurt their chemistry? And how would you feel in that situation if you were one of those players with the Jazz who Rudy was playing around with?
I think guys have a right to be upset, because virus is nothing to play with. Now everybody sees why.
Right.
But I think everybody's professional. So once season comes back, I don't think it's going to linger that much. But guys are pretty mad. I can say that. So I just hope, they can come back and play. And I feel bad for Rudy because I know he might have been joking around, but this is serious.
Right.
People are going to look at him in a different light now.
Corey, last thing, for me, some players have stepped up and donated money. Giannis and who else?
Kevin Love,
Blake
Griffin,
and
Zion.
Blake Griffin in Detroit, and donated money to try to help pay for the vendors and the security guards and all the people who work at the arena. Who when those games go away, they lose their money and their livelihood. But shouldn't the owners be the ones to step up as well, or if not at all, mostly, and pay the employees' salaries during these times, more so than even the players?
Oh, for sure. I think it's great what the players are doing. The staff at the arenas, they do a great job, and they're there every game, and they take care of the fans, and they're nice to the players. So you're right. I think the owners should donate too. It's just more money and takes care of people who are going to be unemployed.
Corey, great stuff, man.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the time. Be safe out there, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Hang in there.